preventing the flow of intellectual property and other business sensitive data outside the organization through personal accounts is something that a lot of organizations are really concerned with. That kind of a situation can come up because an individual user's account's been compromised and you've got a bad actor who's using that account to run data out to a third-party domain. Or you can have an insider threat where the employee themselves are taking some of the software source code, for example, in preparation for moving to another job, as a pretty common example. So I'm going to show you today how to use concentric semantic intelligence to spot those kind of problems and throw up a remediation rule to change the permissions on the critical files that you're worried about. All right, so I'm going to go about this a little bit of a different way than I have in some of these past demos. In a few of the other ones, we've started with these risk tiles, which are a really handy way to get into the data very quickly and set up things that you might want to monitor on an ongoing basis. Today, the challenge is for us to identify any source codes that are flowing out of the organization through personal domains. And if we spot any that are a real concern, we're going to set up a remediation rule here, and we're going to set up also a notification for the offending party's boss, right? So let's get to it. I'm going to go through, and again, instead of using the risk tiles, we're going to jump into this problem through what we call the file explorer, and this allows us to very quickly drill down into the data that we've got available for us here. Now, it's important to realize that what's enabling these particular sets of tools is a very robust deep learning enabled discovery process that is able to scan your cloud and on-premises files and discover where you've got this business critical information and put it into one of over 250 different categories and clusters that gives us some insight and ways to manipulate and work with the data and see what's going on. So let's get right to it. Let's drop down in here. We're looking for personally shared data. And again, we wanted to try to find the source code files. That's our job for today. I know those are in the product category and the source code subcategory. And I can see right away, I've got 6 files that I'm concerned about here in the source code category. Let's just have a look and see exactly what's going on with those 6 files. So if I drop this permissions box down and look at the internal users that that's been shared with, I can see there's a couple of different personal domains that have been receiving this data, right, or have been shared this data. One of them is Hotmail, that's Gopal, and he's shared 4 files here. Another one is Gmail, and that's Pankaj. And just I'm going to look at Pankaj a little bit more closely. We're worried about him as a senior developer, making sure that he's not exfiltrating some source code. And if I click on his name, you can see here he's actually shared 15 files with his Gmail address here, pankaj@gmail.com. So that's a pretty big concern. And I'm not 100% sure what all the 15 are. We're just worried about source code files today. So what we're going to do is, now that we've identified the problem and seen some of the issues that we might have with Pankaj, and we're going to create a policy to try to stop that, right? So I'm going to define a permission, and for external users, I'm going to deny specifically Pankaj's Gmail account, right? So if I hit Pankaj here, Pankaj, there he is, and put him up there and hit done. The other thing I was going to do is go ahead and add a notification to Pankaj's boss. So it's going to be an email to the file owner and their manager. I can customize this message as I see fit, and I would probably in this case do that, but for the sake of time, we'll just presume we can get that done and hit that and hit apply. So to just recap what we accomplished here in terms of protecting intellectual property from exfiltration through personal accounts, we've been able to very quickly zero in on the type of data we're concerned about, namely in our case, product information with source code data in it. And then we were able to figure out exactly who it was that was sharing these particular files, and then set up a quick remediation rule that changes permissions on those files. And by the way, for future files that meet these criteria, change the permissions so that we prevent the data flow to that specific domain that we're concerned about. If you're interested in learning more about how this works and you see some applications in your IT security environment, please get in touch with us at concentric.ai. Hit the big yellow demo button. We would be happy to set up a meeting with one of our product experts, walk through the specific types of data that you're aiming at protecting, and see what we can do to help you out. Appreciate you watching the video, and thanks again.